Hello, fourth grade. This is Mr. C, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make equivalent fractions using three different strategies. The first strategy that we're going to use is drawing a picture. The second strategy that we're going to use is fraction strips. And the third strategy is going to be proving this mathematically, proving that these fractions are equivalent by multiplying our numerator and our denominator. We're going to be changing those values to illustrate why this works. So the materials that you're going to need today are fraction strips and a piece of scratch paper where you can draw these different pictures that you'll be seeing on IXL. It's really important that you have your fraction strips because it helps us kind of test out different combinations. Is 1/3 the same as 1/4? No. Is it the same as 2/4? No. And how we can kind of use these to create a visual of the mathematical concepts that we're teaching here or that we're trying to learn, how we can prove that these are equal. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this picture here. And you can see that I've already done the work for us. I have 1/2 is equal to 2/4. On the left side, I split the whole into two pieces and I shaded one side in. On the right, I split the whole into four pieces and I shaded two of the four pieces in. Now these fractions are equivalent. If you notice, they're both taking up the left half of the whole. So if I were to just for a moment erase that line separating my fourths, I can see that here I have the entire left side shaded in, and here I have the entire left side shaded in. So if I put that line back here, I can see that 1/2 is equal to 2/4. And I want to use my fraction strips to prove that. So here's 1/2. Here's 1/4. Not the same just yet, so I'm going to add another fourth. Now they're the same. Now they are equal. They're taking up the same amount of space. So picture, fraction strips. And now mathematically I want to prove that. So as you can see here, every time I use 1/2, I need 2/4 to take up that same amount of space. So if I used another 1/2 over here, I would need another 2/4. So I can see that there's kind of this relationship of every 2/4 is equal to 1/2. So here's how I mathematically prove it. Right now my denominator is 2, and over here the denominator is 4. So if I want to change my denominator, if I want to again, we're proving that they're equal. So how do I go from 2 to the number 4 using multiplication? I need to multiply by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. If I multiply by 2 on the denominator, I need to multiply by 2 on the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. You have to make sure that you're multiplying by the same number top and bottom. And if we get a true statement, 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, then we've proven that they are equal. Here would be a non-example of what that looks like. So if I had 1/2 is equal to 3/8. So in order to go from 2 to 8, I need to multiply by 4. 2 times 4 is 8. That's true. If I multiply by 4 on the denominator, I multiply by 4 on the numerator. Is 1 times 4 3? No, it's not. So I've multiplied by the same number top and bottom, but here I have a check mark and here I have an X. So 1/2 is not the same as 3/8. I've taped my 8s together, so I'm going to fold this one up. It'll be a little hard for me to hold it. But you can see that 1/2 is not the same as 3/8. Okay? Let's do another couple examples. Down below, I have 1/3. Here's my fraction strip that represents 1/3. And I want to know how many sixths. Again, I can count 1, 2. And I can prove it using my fraction strips. On IXL today, they are going to be giving you lots of these pictures and it's your job to count the amount of pieces that were shaded in out of how many altogether. So here we have 1, 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is showing that 1/3 is equal to 2/6. I've proved it with a picture. I've proved it with my fraction strips. Now I want to prove it mathematically. 3 times 2 will give me 6. If I multiply by 2 on the denominator, I multiply by 2 on the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. I've multiplied by the same thing, top and bottom, and I get a true statement. Okay? What I mean by that is 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. Not like our not example up here. A couple more examples for you. I'm going to start down here where I have 3/5. There's 1, 2. And there's my fifths. 3/5. And over here, I'm breaking it into tenths, right? I have 5 pieces on the bottom, 5 pieces on the top. So I want to use my fraction strips to see how many tenths are equal to 3/5. So there's 2 tenths, and I'm not quite there yet. Here's another 2 tenths, not quite there yet. And here's another 2 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths is the same as 3/5. And I can count that over here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths. Mathematically proving it. 5 times 2 will give me 10. I can give that a check mark. If I multiply by 2 on the denominator, I multiply by 2 on the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6. So I've multiplied by the same number, top and bottom. I've gotten a true statement. I've proved it with a picture, and I've proved it with my fraction strips. On some of the questions that you'll see on IXL, there will not be a picture to support your thinking. In that case, you can use your fraction strips. You should use your fraction strips. So here I have 3/4. Okay? And I want to figure out how many 12ths. So you can use your fraction strips, but you can also use this mathematical way of proving it. So I want to ask myself, how do I go from my denominator's 4, and over here my denominator's 12. So how can I go from 4 to 12? Well, I want to multiply by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Check mark. If I multiply by 3 on the denominator, I multiply by 3 on the numerator. And 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? And here, if I use my fraction strips, I don't have my 12ths ready. One moment here. I can start to lay these out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me get one more. 9. I know some of those are upside down and backwards, but you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 12ths is equal to 3/4. And last but not least, 2/3. I'm going to mathematically prove this one. I know that 3 times 3 will give me 9. If I multiply by 3 on the bottom, I multiply by 3 on the top. 2 times 3 is 6. True statement, true statement. And we multiplied by the same thing, top and bottom. My fraction strip set does not have ninths, so I don't have a way of visually representing this. So, 3 strategies for you today. Drawing pictures, fraction strips, and mathematically proving it. I will link the video to make your own fraction strips if you don't have them handy. I strongly encourage that you have these out so you can be testing different combinations. Is 2/5 the same as 2/10? No. Is it the same as 3/10? Not quite. Is it the same as 4/10? Yes. So that's kind of the fun of having these fraction strips and being able to test out different combinations. So that's your assignment for today. We're finding equal fractions or equivalent fractions. Your teachers will be checking in to make sure you're getting the work done on IXL. Please make sure you're signed in before you start, and good luck today.